Welcome back. It's time to start what is probably the most intense assignment that we're going to be doing together. This is Unit 3, Assignment 1. And Assignment 1 is a big tackle here. We are writing Hello World. And if you haven't done the reading in the class or watched the live lesson recordings, Hello World is a coder's key statement. It was the first kind of graphical world or graphical message written, text message written in the coding world. So everybody does it. It's just a thing you do. But we're going to be doing Hello World in 3 different versions, 3 different ways. So there's going to be a lot of parts to Unit 3 Assignment 1. Hang with me, do them all, and we're going to go slowly because all of these pieces that you're learning, they're going to be really important. Not only that, but you're going to keep building on all of this Hello World stuff. So we've got to do this all together. Here we go. First things first, as always, I want you to go ahead and open up IDLE and open a new file. We're going to save this one. And as always, go to your computer science file. And as I say every single time, if you don't have one, make one. I'm putting these in a file called examples. And we've been doing Unit 2, so I need to set up a file for Unit 3. Okay? But not Unit 3, Unit 3. And here in Unit 3, I'm going to call this one Hello. Just Hello, straight up Hello all by itself. And now I'm in the file called hello.py, which is Hello Python file. And as always, what's the very first thing we do? We call up our turtle. This gives us, how about import? FumTurtle import star. This calls up our little guy here. This is what we're going to draw with. We're not drawing with the turtle in the shape of a turtle. We're going to leave it as the arrow. Now, the next thing we're doing here is we're going to add what's called comments. Comments are little messages in the code that tells your user what's happening in each area of your code. The comments don't show up on your screen when you run the program, but they do tell the programmer what they're looking at. When you're typing comments, you start with the pound sign or hashtag sign, depending on what you call it, space, and the first thing I want to do is I want to tell my user here that I'm going to pick up the turtle and I'm going to move him to where I want him to start. So the comment is pick up the turtle and move, gosh, I'm having a problem typing here, move it to its starting point. Now, when I do comments, the thing is that it doesn't really matter what it says or doesn't say or anything like that. So you can kind of really, I mean, it could say these steps are going to move the turtle somewhere. It doesn't really matter, but as long as it kind of indicates to your user what's going to happen. All right, here we go. So I hit return. And the first thing I'm doing here is I'm going to be calling what's called a pen up command, meaning that when I move my turtle from its starting point to where I want it to go, I don't want it to draw a line. Let me show you what would happen. Let's do a go to command. This tells it where to go, and I'm going to use coordinates. Now, if you don't understand coordinates, you do need to go back and read in the unit. But basically, coordinates are X and Y coordinates. And if you've ever done, like in math before, you know that when we do coordinates, we're dividing our picture, our image into a graph with a bunch of little squares on it. Everything to the left of the center point where the 2 lines cross is negative. Everything to the right is positive. Top positive, bottom negative. So this is telling it we're going to go to the bottom 200 pixels and then over to the, or X coordinate, left 200 pixels and top 100. So watch what happens here if I just run this. See, now he moves himself to where I want him, right? Left 200, up 100. But he draws a line. I don't want that line there. It's not part of what I'm trying to write. So I need to do what's called a pen up command. Pen up command says lift yourself up before you move. That way you don't draw a line. Pen up looks like this. Pen up, open, close, parenthesis. Okay, now watch what happens. Oh, here he is, ready to go. He moved to where I want him to start, but he didn't draw a line. And I do want my turtle to go to negative 200, 100. That is negative 200, which is 200 pixels on the x-axis, the horizontal line, 200 pixels to the left. 100 pixels up. And now I'm going to have him put the pen down because I want him to start drawing. And the pen down command looks just like the pen up command, except I put down instead of up. That's the first thing I want my turtle to do. Lift yourself, move, go down. Next, I'm going to add another comment. What I'd like the turtle to do now is draw the left leg of H in hello, because we're going to be drawing the word hello. So, pound sign, hashtag, draw the left leg of H. Wow, I'm sorry for the really bad typing today. And then I'm also going to add a comment telling my user that the turtle's going to start at the bottom left of the letter pointing right. The turtle will start at the bottom left of the letter pointing right. You do want to put these in here because part of your grade is based on the fact that you added comments. That is part of the lesson. So I've already put my pen down, and if you remember correctly, when he did this, he's pointing this direction. So now I want him to start at the bottom leg of the letter. So I need him to turn, and he's going to be pointing right. So what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have him turn to the right 90 degrees. So I say, I'm sorry, turn to the left 90 degrees. I'm sorry, I want him pointing right, so I'm going to turn him to the left 90 degrees. I apologize for that. Left 90. Now let's see what happens. Now he's pointing up, okay? So he was down here at the very bottom, and I need him to turn himself left 90, and he's going to go up. So now I want him to move forward 100 pixels. That's going to create that first leg of the H. Boop. Now, I need him to draw the bar across the H. But if I were to just have him draw a bar here or start moving, I would get all these extra lines. So I'm going to have him actually backtrack down this line halfway. This line's 100 pixels long. Halfway is going to be 50. And instead of going forward 100, I'm going to have him turn and go forward negative 50 because that's going to take me halfway down. At that point, I need him to turn his body to create a bar that goes this way across the H. So I'm going to have him turn to the right 90 degrees and then create a short bar, 50, because our H doesn't need to have 3 equal length bars. That would look goofy. We want 100, a 50, and a 100. So watch what I'm going to do. I want him to move backward down the same line now, halfway. Forward, negative 50. And I'm showing you this step because we're going to do this negative quite a bit in here, so I want you to kind of see what that does. One more time, let's run that one more time. Ah, see, woo, he came down real quick. Negative 50 puts him halfway down the bar. Now I want him to turn to the right 90 degrees to make that 90 degree angle. And I'd like him to move forward 50 degrees. I'm sorry, forward 50 pixels. Now, I forgot to tell my user that this element here is going to draw the bar of the H. So I'm going to add a comment. And you can add comments after, it's fine. And just like above, I'm going to say that the turtle starts at the top of the left leg, pointing up. All of these are not necessary comments. But for now, I want you to just get in the habit of doing these comments, okay? So here we go. Let's see what happens. Actually, do you see I have a little typo there? It would create a very short bar at 5 pixels. Typos are not good in programming. Oh, I have half an H. Woohoo! Now, what do I need to do? So I need the right leg of the H. And I want him to go, I'm thinking about how I'm going to make this happen. So I think I'm going to have him start from there, and I'm going to have him turn 90 degrees to the left and start the top part of this. If he goes up 50, right, that's going to do this half. And then if he comes backward 100, that'll complete the entire leg. So how are we going to do that? Let's, why don't we put in our comments, let's say that we're going to draw the right leg of the H. And then one more time, just because this is where we are right now. The turtle starts on the right side of the bar. My typing is just horrible today. Pointing right. That's where we saw him last, was he was pointing right, correct. Now I need him to turn to the left 90 degrees. That's going to turn him so that he can point up on the H. And now I'd like him to draw a line 50 pixels. Because, ooh, did you see that typo? That would make it not work. Typos are bad. And I don't need that capitalized. 50 pixels is going to take me all the way to the top because I'm already halfway up. Now I want to come all the way back down to the bottom. So I want to do a negative 100. It takes him all the way back down. And let's see what happens when we do that, because I may need him to turn his little body to get ready to move for the E. Woo, there's my fancy H. It looks great. So we came over here, we turned, we went up 100, back 50, turn, over 50, turn, up 50, back 100. But I think we should turn in order to get ready to do the E. So we're going to take the turtle and let's turn him 90 degrees to the right. And now I can add a comment telling myself that the H is drawn. And if I want to tell myself what's going on here, I can say the turtle is at the bottom right, pointing right. Let's see what happens. And he's pointing ready to go create the E. So you can see why this is going to take so long. We'll probably do a few less comments as we go here. Next up, I need to create the E. Me being Mrs. Mac, I like my space. I want a space here before I tell it what to do. Now, if I were to start my E and I were just to start drawing an E and I would tell it to go to the left 90 or whatever, and then I were to tell it to go forward 100, watch what would happen. Not forward like in a book. Oh, see, what's going to happen is that my E is going to attach straight into my H. I don't want to write those all attached together. We're going to come back and do this again, but not yet. So now I need to add a space. I like spaces between my letters. So my space, I'm going to do 30 pixels wide. It's a good amount for a short space. And I'm telling in my comments, add a space 30 pixels wide. All right. If I don't do this step, then it'll draw a little line before I move. So you guys remember that my step is known as a pen up. I'm going to move forward 30 spaces. And then I'm going to put my pen down. That's how I create a space, with a pen up, pen down. Now watch what happens. Now he's going to be ready to move. So I add a space 30 pixels wide, pick my pen up, move forward 30, which is not much, and put my pen down. And here we go. It's time to draw an E. We've got to draw E in the word hello. So I'm going to hashtag draw an E, and I'm not going to put all of the stuff in here this time. Thinking about my E, I want to turn to the left 90 degrees so I can draw the straight line on my E. Typos are not our friend. And I want to go up 100 pixels. I want all of my lines, all of my letters to be the same size. So forward 100. Now I need to turn to the right because E has a straight line with 3 lines coming off of it. That's going to be a 90-degree turn. And then I'm going to draw a 50 pixel line, right? Because that's going to be the same length as my H. It's going to be half of it. And let's see what happens. This is an awfully close space. I wonder if I put a 3 instead of a 30. I sure did. Let's try again. And see, you can make mistakes and you go, why doesn't that look like I want it? Oh, now it looks right. So now let's think about what I gotta do. I gotta go backward, backward, middle, backward, down, middle. So let's do this. This is gonna be a long series of stuff happening now, okay? So I did forward 50, that took me to the top. Next thing I wanna do is I wanna come back the way I went. Forward, negative 50. And now I want to work my way down. And hopefully I can just keep pulling this guy up. No, not that big. Come back. So that you guys can see the full screen here. Okay? It'll start to give me a scroll bar here in just a second. Alright, now let's see. I went backward. I went down 50. Now I need to turn my little guy to the right, correct? And now I'm going to create another bar across 50 pixels. There we go. Move them all up. Okay. So let's see what happens. H space E. Backward 50. And now, well, he should have drawn our middle thing there. Let's see what he's doing. Why didn't he do our middle guy? For some reason, he seems to be missing his right 50, so let's see what happens here. So we went forward 50, back 50. Oh, I know what we did. That's my fault. Forward 50, back 50. Takes us straight back there. Now, we got our left 90, our forward 100, right 90, forward 50, back 50. Now turn to the right 90. And now we're going to go forward 50. Now we need to turn to the left 90. That's what I was missing in there. And then forward 50. That's where I missed our second part there, silly Mrs. Mac. Before we come back, let's do this part and see where it looks. I knew I was missing something there. And see, it's okay as you're working to go, what did I miss here? Something has to happen. There we go. So I went up 100. I turned to the right. My 50. I came back 50. Then I turned again. I had to turn this guy to the right to come down 50. But I hadn't yet drawn my middle line. So now I need to go backward 50, and I'm going to have to turn to the right again and come down another 50. Okay? So let's do another forward, negative 50. And see, a lot of this is visualizing in your head what's going on. I need to turn him to the right, 90 degrees, and then I need to come back down. So I got to go another forward 50 because I'm coming back down the line. Then I turn to the left 90 degrees to create my little bar, and then I go forward 50. So let's just look real closely at what we're doing here. I turned to the left from where I was 90 degrees, and I went straight up 100 degrees. Then I turned to the right. Do I have a pen tool in here? It'd be nice to have a pen tool. Let's see if I can do it like this. Hang on. Let me see if I can show you guys this pen tool so you kind of understand what's going on here. Okay, here we go. So the first thing I did was I turned to the left because I was facing the wrong direction. I went forward 100 degrees. Turn to the right 90 degrees, forward 50. Come backward 50. Turn to the right 90 degrees, forward 50 because I'm facing this direction now. Turn to the left 90 degrees because I'm facing this way. So I need to come back this way 90 degrees. Forward 50, back 50. Now I'm facing this direction, so I need to come back this way 90 degrees. Right? Forward 50, left 90, forward 50. All of that just to get the E. So let's run it. Woohoo! So what do we need next? We need another space. Here's the beauty of doing the space, is that I can now use code reuse. Okay? So I'm going to copy all of this. Control C. Control V. I've just added my next space. Watch what happens. This is called code reuse when you copy and paste. So you don't have to keep typing it if you're like me and you're making a lot of mistakes. Now I have a space and we're ready to go. Next in the word hello are some L's. So let's start making some L's, not elves, L's. And see how I leave spaces between my letters? This is just for me. I mean, you don't have to do that, but it helps me get a little bit better visual. Now what I want to do is draw an L. The beauty of drawing the L is that it's a lot simpler than the other letters. From where I was facing, let's take a look here one more time. We need to see which direction I got to turn. So I need to go straight up on my L 100 degrees. So I'm going to have to turn to the left 90 degrees. I'm going to have to turn this little guy so he's facing up. So let us start, please, with a left 90. Now we're going to move forward 100 pixels. And I've got my straight line on my L. All I do next is I'm going to move backwards, straight back down. So that's going to be forward negative 100. Now I want to turn my little guy. Let's see where he's facing to make the bar at the bottom of my L. Oh, so he's facing this way. He's going to turn to the right 90 degrees to go in this direction. Okay. So let's turn him to the right 90. And then we're going to make him go 50 degrees because, again, I don't need the bars. Or 50 pixels, I'm sorry. I don't need the bars on my lines as long as I can, you know, everything can be halves here. There's my L. And now he's pointing here. So what do? Code reuse. Highlight. Control C. Control V. And I'm going to get a space. Watch and see. Here we go. And I realize this is a long video, but that's what we're doing this time. Now I need another L. So let's think about with my second L. Can it be exactly the same text that I used before? Exactly the same number of commands? Why, yes. Yes, it can. So rather than type all this again, code reuse. Woohoo! Boom. Watch what happens now. I Control C. I highlight. Control C. Control V. Run the module. H. E. L. L. All I need now is an O. And I always keep thinking of which, of course, I'm not trying to write a dirty word up there. Sorry, guys. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's the first 4 letters of the word hello. I think of that old Jell-O commercial. J-E-L-L-O. Okay. I need another space before my O. So I highlight all of this. Control C. Control V. Code reuse. Push this up to the top so that I can see what I'm doing. And now we're going to draw an O. So put in our comments, draw an O. From where we ended, I am going to have this little guy go forward only 50 from where he was on the bottom there. He's going to move up 50 because we're going to have to keep turning angles to make this O. So from right there, I can make the bottom part of the O, the bottom line, by moving forward just 50. I need to turn from there. I moved forward 50. I'm facing this direction. Well, let's see. I use my little pen guy here again. Well, let's just show you. Now I'm facing this direction, but I want to go up this way 100, so I need to turn to the left 90 degrees. Now I need to move directly up 100 degrees, 100 pixels. I keep saying degrees here, and I mean pixels. That's going to create one side of my O. That's going to create the right side of my O. And now I need to turn to the left so that I'm ready to create the bar across the top of my O, which will be 50 pixels long. Watch what happens. Okay, so I still have to turn here to the right 90 degrees and create my straight line. So from where I am, I want to do a right 90. A right 90 or a left 90? Which way am I going? Left 90, sorry. I want to do a left 90. Silly Mrs. Mac. And then I want to go forward 100. Let's see what happens. It's going to create my second bar there. And you can see, even as I'm picturing this, I've done this a million times, and it still takes me a minute to kind of picture what I'm doing here. And now I can kind of have a couple choices. I can draw on the bottom of this O again. I can turn it that way, or I could just turn my little guy. I can make him come back, but I've got the whole world hello now. So if I wanted to, since I've joined up here, I can either redraw this line on the bottom, or I can just turn him so he's facing directly up or directly to the side. I'm going to turn him, I think I want to go left 90. Let's see, because I always like to kind of end with the right, with my turtle pointing the right direction. Let's see what happens if I take him left 90. And now he's pointing the direction he started. And I have drawn the word hello. This is the first part. I'm not going to exit on click yet because I'm going to keep adding to this. I'm going to do hello world, and we're going to add another piece to this in just a second, which is called a function, because this is a long video. This, you can see already, this is a 30-minute first part of the assignment. And like I said, unit 3 is long. So what am I going to do? What I always do, I'm going to save. You can see the amount of code you need. You need to pick up your turtle and move it to its starting point. Draw the H, put a space. Draw the E, space. L, space. L, space. O. File save. H-E-L-L-O. Hello, you're ready. Now I'm going to close this one out to get you ready. We're going to do the second video, which is going to be Unit 3, Assignment 1, Part 2. You're not done with Assignment 1 yet. I'm not submitting because we're not there. Let's close this video out and we'll go into Part 2.